My name is Ted Smith. I'm the author of Hempology 101, The History and Uses of Cannabis Sativa. And we're making these short videos to help explain more of the information that's contained in my book. Today is the first video on Chapter 2, Hemp in the Field. And I'm going to talk about the old uses of hemp in Europe. And so it's hard to know exactly when it became used in Europe. We don't have a lot of records. It's certain that hemp became used first in China, 3,000–4,000 years ago. They began making paper. Around the same time, they began making cloth, much like this jacket here. So they were making rope and stuff like that. But when that information and seeds came to Europe is not exactly known. It certainly became used before Marco Polo, and there's evidence of that in the agricultural records of Britain, which is sort of the farthest away from the mainland of Europe. So if it's being grown out in Britain, you know it's being grown elsewhere in Spain and places like that, because it really wouldn't grow very well in Britain. It doesn't have that great of a climate, which is why they wouldn't actually be able to grow it well enough to produce hash, but they'd be able to grow it enough to produce seed and fiber that they could use for rope, and most importantly to the British, to turn into sailing cloth. And so the use of hemp was really important, and there's proof that it was being used 600, 800 AD, again well before it became really industrialized. It was used on the farms locally. And we have evidence again of spore in the water, some agricultural records, but most importantly in maps and the naming of cities. Apparently there's two towns today, Hemp Hill and Hemp Riggis, that still exist. And Hemp Riggis no longer exists, but Hemp Riggs does. And there's also on old maps Hemp Buttus and Hempus Fields. And so the fact that all these towns were named after hemp just, I think, indicates how important it was. And again, it really was important to be able to grow hemp to the British people, especially as they developed their abilities to travel on water mostly, because the British obviously are bound to the land that they live on, but in order to travel they needed sailing rope and cloth, and being able to produce their own was vitally important. And in the next chapter I get into industrial hemp and talk more about its uses industrially and why it was so important to the British Empire as it grew. And so if you want to read more, you can certainly buy my book. Hempology.ca is a link to the store. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can watch a lot more of these videos. And otherwise, the Hempology.ca page has links to our Facebook and a whole bunch of other sites, including the Cannabis Digest that I publish a newspaper with, and all sorts of other things there. So please check us out. And thanks for watching our video. Have a hempy day.